Hey everyone! Today we need to talk about something incredibly difficult, something that leaves a scar not just on a community, but on the conscience of a nation. It's a conversation that's heavy, filled with grief, and questions that often have no easy answers. We're going to be looking back at some of the most devastating school shootings in recent history. And I want to be clear from the start. This isn't about sensationalism. This isn't for shock value. This is about remembering. April 20th, 1999. It's a date that, for many, marks a profound turning point. Before this day, the idea of a mass shooting at a high school felt like something from a movie, not something that happens in a quiet suburb like Littleton, Colorado. Two students, armed with an arsenal of weapons, walked into Columbine High School and unleashed a horror the world was not prepared for. For hours, they terrorized their classmates and teachers, turning a place of education into a war zone. By the time it was over, 12 students and one teacher were dead. Many more were injured. A community was left utterly broken. The aftermath, confusion, grief, and a desperate search for answers. The media descended into the shooters' lives, the clothes they wore, the music they listened to. The term trenchcoat mafia became a household phrase, often inaccurately. The school itself became a symbol, a tragedy that would cast a long, dark shadow. It changed everything. Lockdown drills, debates about safety and policy. Fast forward 8 years, April 16th, 2007. At Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, the day began like any other. But it would end as the deadliest school shooting in American history at the time. A single student, over the course of several hours, carried out 2 separate attacks. The main assault began in Norris Hall. He chained the doors shut from the inside, ensuring no one could escape. Methodically firing upon students and professors who had no way out. The sounds of screams and gunshots echoed through the building. The scale of the violence was staggering. When the rampage was over, 32 people, students and faculty, were dead. Many others were left with life-altering injuries. The nation was again plunged into mourning. Questions arose about the shooter's mental health history and why warning signs might have been missed. The tragedy led to significant changes in campus safety protocols and laws about sharing mental health information. 32 lives, each with a story, a family and a future, extinguished in a place they had come to build that future. There are some events so horrific they defy words. December 14th, 2012. In Newtown, Connecticut, a 20-year-old man shot his way into Sandy Hook Elementary School. This wasn't a high school or a college campus. Finger painting, story time, first friendships. The victims were not teenagers. They were children, 20 of them, all 6 or 7 years old. He also killed 6 adults, teachers and staff who died trying to protect their students. The terror these small children must have felt is unimaginable. When news first broke, there was disbelief. But as the day wore on, the horrifying reality set in. 20 first graders were gone. Their families sent them to school that morning and they never came home. It was a national trauma. The world grieved. Leaders, families, and communities called for change. Debates about gun laws intensified. Valentine's Day, 2018. At Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, students were celebrating with cards and candy. But the day took a horrific turn. A former student entered the freshman building and began shooting. Cell phone video shows the chaos inside. He pulled the fire alarm. Some students thought it was a drill. It wasn't. For 6 agonizing minutes, he moved through halls and classrooms, killing 14 students and 3 staff members, injuring many more. The images felt depressingly familiar. Students running, SWAT teams, frantic parents waiting for news. What followed was different. The survivors refused to be silent. Led by figures like Emma Gonzalez and David Hogg, survivors launched a powerful youth-led movement, March for Our Lives, demanding change. They turned pain into action, confronting lawmakers and changing the national conversation about gun violence. On October 1st, 2015, the cycle of violence struck again in Roseburg, Oregon. A 26-year-old walked into a classroom at Umpqua Community College and opened fire. He had multiple handguns and a rifle. Before he began, he reportedly handed a student an envelope with a flash drive manifesto. He then shot classmates and his professor. The attack was swift and targeted. He killed 8 students and 1 professor before taking his own life during a confrontation with police. A quiet community was thrust into the national spotlight. Families mourned those who had simply gone to class. Umpqua didn't spark the same sustained movement as Parkland, nor match Virginia Tech's scale, but it sits painfully within the same grim pattern. We've walked through some incredibly dark moments today. Columbine, Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook, Parkland, Umpqua. These aren't just place names. They are memorials, classrooms, hallways, playgrounds where lives were changed or ended. Remembering these events is painful, but it is our shared responsibility. We owe it to the victims, the children, the teenagers, the educators, to not look away. We honor them by remembering their names, their stories, and the love they shared. Their lives mattered, and their memory must endure beyond the headlines. Survivors, families, and activists have shown grief can be transformed into a force for good, fighting for safer schools, better mental health care, and common-sense legislation. We can choose to build a future where no child is afraid to go to school and no parent experiences that unimaginable loss. This is a space for reflection and respectful conversation. In the comments, share your thoughts with sensitivity and respect. Talk about the victims you remember, the moments that moved you, or what we can do as a society to move forward. Thank you for taking the time to bear witness today. Let's never forget.